Future of Talent. First, we have a keynote address, and we have Mr. Dave West as the keynote speaker. He is the president of Asia Pacific, Japan, and Greater China of Cisco. He is responsible for developing Cisco's strategy, accelerating business growth, and ensuring his company is the most trusted and relevant IT solutions partner and provider in the industry. He is a 23-year-old Cisco veteran with over 28 years of experience in the ICT.
So I'll let everyone get settled in this room, and I just want to say thank you so much. I'm humbled to be here. Thank you for the invite. And what I want to do is spend the next 15 minutes just sharing some insights from Cisco's perspective on the state of digital skills and the skills gaps we see, and the criticality in ensuring our global workforce, and certainly the workforce in India and here in Kerala, is equipped for future of industry and the future of work. In my role as the president for Asia Pacific, Japan, and Greater China for Cisco, and I've been in that role for the last 5 years, it's given me the privilege and the pleasure of spending a lot of time in India and trying to understand and learn India's markets. I'm always inspired how progressive the mindset is in Kerala, and how, as a state, you've adopted technology and innovation to propel the economy and bring new opportunities to its people. We firmly believe at Cisco that technology is the game changer for Kerala for several reasons, especially as it relates to AI and cybersecurity. The way businesses are consuming technology is absolutely changing, and the ecosystem being created by government and the push for local innovation is making way for transformation across all sectors. Multiple tectonic shifts in the market are changing everything about how people work, how people live, how people play, and how organizations operate. Undoubtedly, today's biggest disruptor is artificial intelligence. AI follows the internet and the cloud transitions that we saw many years ago. And customers, citizens, governments, businesses have to innovate and stay competitive in today's ever-changing world. As successful organizations are adapting, others that don't will probably lose relevance as it relates to AI. Those that miss the internet transition are probably out of business today. Those that miss the cloud transition most probably got out-innovated. Those that miss the AI transition will sort of be left behind. For industry, AI and technology innovation as a whole, transforming key sectors like agriculture, healthcare, urban planning, and manufacturing. Modernization, automation, and AI-driven systems and processes will boost productivity and potentially reduce costs and downtime for industry operations. AI and industrial automation, as example, is projected to grow exponentially with adoption across supply chain management, demand forecasting, and workforce automation. In manufacturing, tech has the potential to boost productivity by 10 to 15%, while AI-driven maintenance
could slash downtimes by as much as 50%. The impact of digital transformation in industries is vast and includes improvements in safety, quality efficiency, revenue, and sustainability, all while reducing costs to remain competitive. For the economy, which I know is incredibly important, India continues to be a key growth engine for the world, and its position is already transforming from being the consumer of technology to being a manufacturer of devices, products, and platforms. India's AI adoption, encompassing software, services, hardware for AI-centric systems, is expected to propel the country in AI spending to an impressive $6 billion by 2027. The Indian AI market is expected to grow up to $22 billion in AI by 2027, attracting investment of no less than $4 billion and becoming the third largest talent base with an expected 1.25 million to 1.35 million people with AI skills. And for society, India has made immense progress enabling connectivity and digital accessibility in rural areas and urban centers across the country. And I know more great work is being done. Now, AI will create new opportunities for societies. Generally speaking, there are a lot of questions around AI and job replacement. But we see the greatest point of difference being productivity enhancements. Generative AI will perhaps be the biggest step forward in recent history when we think about potential productivity increases. It's been said, AI won't necessarily take your job, but someone who knows AI might. To ensure success in the digital-first world and to ensure progress is not delayed or derailed, we believe we need to embrace and augment around 4 critical pillars: technology, execution, talent, and purpose. For technology, at Cisco, we believe there are 3 critical areas organizations need to address today in order to be ready for the AI era and to power the business for the outcomes of the future. Number 1 is everyone needs to ready sort of the data centers and the workloads that they have today, transforming their data centers to power AI workloads anywhere they may be. Number 2, future-proofing workplaces, modernizing everywhere people work and serving their customers, their employees. And number 3, digital resilience, keeping the data center, workplace, entire digital footprint resilient against all types of threats with game-changing security, assurance, and observability, all supported by AI to improve productivity and deliver better outcomes. To bring the benefits of these technologies to life, we need to focus on execution, from reimagining investments in ROI to establishing a culture that fosters innovation and experimentation, from the leadership all the way down to every employee. It is critical to ensure alignment between all stakeholders. Lack of alignment can cause disruptions, and that can lead to poor output from industries, resulting in inefficiencies, additional costs, and customer dissatisfaction. The third criticality is how well is the workforce equipped for the AI transition. One of the main or key aspects of workplaces and workforces is how they can interact between human intelligence and machine intelligence. This is going to require a shift in mindset, a shift in skills, where humans and machines work together in a collaborative and symbiotic manner. This approach requires significant investment in the development of skills and training programs that focus on human-machine collaboration. Apart from creating new inclusive opportunities, it will increase worker effectiveness, and in sectors like manufacturing, mining, farming, it will improve safety. Gaining employee support and confidence is critical, absolutely critical to the success of analytic systems. Beyond providing consistently reliable information, employees must understand and support the goals of this new system. This requires an honest discussion amongst all of us about the benefits, risks, and costs of a new system. And the last piece is purpose. This is about collaboration and partnership, and the ways companies or organizations can leverage their capabilities to create positive impact. At Cisco, for example, our purpose is centered around powering an inclusive future for all. It combines our technology, people, and broader networks to address society's greatest challenges, from the planet to digital accessibility, education, and underserved communities. Our purpose also serves as a powerful vision for our own workforce to rally around the role that we play in bringing this to life. So, when you think about the workplace and the workforce, especially the workforce of tomorrow, it will be very different than it is today. AI will be running everywhere. Bar none, it will be running everywhere. Robots performing work and assisting humans. More IoT devices than ever before. New ways for employees and customers to engage. Dramatic changes in power needs, think about sustainability, and new security threats to address. All of these will create new demands on an organization's infrastructure and the technologies they require to run it at optimum performance. But it also puts new demands on the type of roles and skills organizations will need. Again, AI is changing everything. We know organizations in India are investing heavily in AI, with half of the companies currently allocating somewhere between 10 to 30% of their IT budgets towards AI. 39% of organizations plan to allocate more than 40% of their IT budget to AI investments in the next 4 to 5 years. But with all the promise and possibilities, AI is also raising the stakes in terms of cyber risk. Today's threat landscape is more complicated than it's ever been before, and organizations are struggling to maintain a foothold over the cyber landscape. Billions of users, devices, IoT devices are connecting to enterprise networks, cloud applications, and data at scale, unlike anything we have ever seen in the past. Now, AI-driven attacks cause even more threats and risks, more attack vectors, and more opportunities for attackers. It has also never been more important for organizations to be equipped with the right technology and the right talent to accelerate innovation and defend and protect in today's ever-evolving environment. Despite the critical need and skill shortages in both AI and security, the problem is still present today. India's AI talent pool is expected to grow 15% CAGR by 2027, from 650,000 to 1.25 million, while India's AI market is expected to grow at a rate of roughly 35%. This points to a demand-supply gap. Not enough talent to fill all the roles and the innovation that's going to be happening in India. Cisco has done some recent research that reflects this data in detail. Our Cisco AI Readiness Index, which was just completed last year, showed only 22% of companies in the country were found to be fully ready from a talent perspective to capture AI's full potential. And almost all the companies surveyed feel increased urgency. 70% say they have less than 18 months to deploy an AI strategy or they will see negative business effects. The pressure to get this right is incredibly high. And in cyber, with 3.5 million job vacancies worldwide, the global cybersecurity workforce shortage is arguably the greatest vulnerability businesses face today. Security teams are understaffed and overworked. Without adequate cybersecurity staffing, organizations are at an increased risk of security incidents. Even as the number of skilled professionals increase, the workforce gap continues to grow. So based on this and some of the work and analysis we've done some assessment of the cybersecurity readiness of India. And here's the data. 91% of companies in India highlighted shortage of cybersecurity talent as their main issue. 58% said they have no less than 10 unfilled positions. So the urgency to upskill and train professionals remains absolutely critical. But there is great potential for AI, not just as a technology, but AI and security working hand in hand to relieve some of the skill shortages. So just don't look at AI as a standalone. Think about AI and its ability to help solve some of the critical gaps in talent shortage. AI will play a meaningful role in allowing cybersecurity professionals to focus on more complex, high-value, and critical tasks, perhaps alleviating some of the workforce pressure today. By combining AI with the breadth of telemetry across networking services, as example, private and public cloud infrastructure, applications, internet, email, and endpoints, AI may be able to bolster security and offer more protection against sophisticated attackers. Meaningful and broad partnerships are required to accelerate upskilling and training in emerging and advanced critical tech areas. Collaboration and partnerships between the private sector, government, academia, and the broader community will help to create the right access, platforms, and opportunities needed to upskill the current workforce and train the next generation. Ultimately, the goal is to unlock the power of digitization to build a digital economy that drives access to education and skills and creates a resilient workforce. Cisco is committed to playing a role in supporting skills and talent for India's future. Through our Network Academy, we educate students with skills to support tomorrow's digital requirements. To date, 2.4 million students have been trained in over 600+ academies across India in emerging technologies such as networking, programming, and cybersecurity. We have trained 1 million people with cybersecurity skills and will achieve that 1 million goal by March. And we also would like to make sure that we do something for Kerala. So we're very committed to training in Kerala and achieving by the end of this fiscal year coming up 50,000 trained students in AI and in cybersecurity. This marks our 30 years in India for Cisco. And over the years, we have seen Kerala emerge as one of the most important states for us. We've been investing in Kerala for a long time now, and a few of the things we are doing here are industry firsts. Through Cisco's Country Digital Acceleration Program, we have worked with the Kerala State IT Mission to bring the benefits of digital technology and data science to farmers in Kerala. And we've been able to empower Kerala's youth through our network academies. Through NetAcad, we've been training learners, professionals, and students in emerging technologies like AI and machine learning, cybersecurity, and more. In the last 12 months alone, over 12,500 learners have trained through 5 academies in Kerala. By the way, the skills preferred by learners in Kerala, cybersecurity, then networking. But I can tell you, if we probe them today, it would be AI, cybersecurity, then networking. I can guarantee it. We are also proud to lead, partner, and invest in many projects and initiatives across India. Cisco has invested in 25 startups directly and indirectly in India, and through our startup accelerator, Cisco Startups, we have mentored over 70 more. Through the Cisco NASCOM Thinkbator, we help universities accelerate IoT innovation and digital technologies on campuses. Through this program, we work with the Digital University Kerala. We are thrilled with all we've accomplished, but there's still so much to do. We have done a lot in the last 30 years, but as we look forward to the next 30 years, we're going to need to work together to equip, to upskill, to learn, to educate, and to keep pace with today's and tomorrow's technology. We are absolutely thrilled to do so and continue to collaborate and achieve great partnerships in Kerala. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dave West. May I please request Mr. V.K. Matthews, the founder and executive chairman for IBS Software, and also the member of High Power IT Committee, to do the honors to present a token of love and appreciation. Mr. Dave West, the keynote speaker, the president of Asia Pacific Japan and Greater China of Cisco, is receiving the memento, the token of appreciation. Thank you, sirs. So let's begin with the panel discussion, Future of Talent. I would like to invite Mr. Santosh Kurup to moderate the session. Santosh Kurup is the professor of practice in the School of Digital Humanities and Liberal Arts at Digital University, Kerala. An alumni of Government Engineering College Thrissur, NIT Calicut and IIM Lucknow, Santosh was the first CEO of ICT Academy of Kerala, a not-for-profit public-private partnered company that established to serve as the premier hub for ICT and innovation training across the state. He also served as a special officer for the Space Park project, where he created a network of 32 space tech entrepreneurs and 7 international space agencies. Earlier, he established and scaled up the operations of TCS in Kerala and also led the Global Health Initiative under TCS CEO's office, impacting over 10,000 staff members. Mr. Santosh Kurup, the moderator. Sir, please. And now, I would like to invite the panelists, Mr. George Chirian. He is a medical doctor by profession and is the CEO and Chief Medical Officer of the American Mission Hospital, Bahrain. He is a neonatologist for over 25 years after obtaining medical training at University of Kerala and following it with postgraduate training in pediatrics at the Hospital of Sick Children in London and subspecialization in neonatology in Toronto. He has served with NHS in the UK and Saudi Aramco Medical Services over several years. Sir, please. He also obtained training in healthcare management from Harvard Business School and has an MBA in leadership from UK. He is also an adjunct professor for clinical medicine and management at the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland. I would like to invite The next panelist, Mr. Rajesh Warrior. He is the Chairman and Managing Director for Cognizant India. His responsibilities include operations, delivery excellence, workforce, planning and sourcing, leadership council, and expanding business in India. Prior to joining Cognizant, Rajesh has served as EVP and Head of Global Services of Infosys Americas and Head of Infosys Digital Experience at Microsoft Business. Prior to that, he was also the CIO and Digital Officer for Aditya Birla Sun Life Insurance. Rajesh is a member of the Executive Council of NASSCOM. He holds a bachelor's degree in physics and is a postgraduate in computer engineering from the University of Mumbai. Welcome, sir. And now, Dr. K. Vasuki, the officer in the Indian Administrative Services, and she is currently serving as a Secretary for Labour and Skills under the Government of Kerala. Vasuki practiced as a medical doctor in Tamil Nadu before joining the IAS in 2008. During her stint as a bureaucrat, she has served with distinction in several positions, including the Director of Shuchitwa Mission and District Collector for Trivandrum. Ma'am, please join us. And also, I would like to invite Mr. A. Sheshadri Shekhar as the panelist. Professor A. Sheshadri Shekhar is the Director for Indian Institute of Technology, Palakkad, and is the Chairman of the Board of Directors. Alumni of IIC Bangalore and IIT Madras, he was a visiting lecturer in 1993 at IIT Kharagpur and became professor in 2003. After serving at IIT Kharagpur for 13 years, he joined IIT Madras as a professor in 2006, and later he was appointed as the head of the Mechanical Engineering Department. Professor Shekhar has published around 206 technical papers and is the co-author of the widely acclaimed book, Dynamic Analysis of Rotating Systems and Applications. Welcome to the stage, sir. So now, it's time for the panel discussion, Future of Talent. I would like you all to occupy the seats. Thank you, sirs. To begin with, I would like to invite Sri Santosh Kurup to chair the session. Over to you, sir. The topic is Future of Talent, chaired by Mr. Santosh Kurup.
Good afternoon. I know it was perhaps a good lunch and a fantastic inaugural, so you may be a little cozy sitting around. So can we have one more good afternoon, if it is okay? Good afternoon. Yeah, thank you so much. At the outset, I wanted to congratulate the Industries Ministry and the department for organizing an event of this magnitude. I think this is phenomenal. We got every dots connected and every key stakeholders out here, and it is indeed therefore a privilege for me to be a small part of this event. In fact, when the session was created by the High Power IT committee, and then they were asking me if I can moderate this session, I was extremely thrilled to be a part of the session because to me it is $1 million question of the future of talent, which needs a lot of insights, especially with the current generation. I shifted, as the host said, I shifted from industry to academia, and now I face the most difficult set of people who keeps asking, what is the future, right? What is the future for us? In the past, we were quite comfortable to say that you have this career path, you can be comfortable, and you can build a career. Now, the moment I finished that career advice, the things would have changed. So therefore, at least more than being a moderator, I am a very curious learner to get more insights from this elite panel. And that brings to the honorable members of this panel, what a fantastic composition. We have members from industry, we have members from academia, and also government. So fantastic panel. Congratulations again to HPIC for putting this together. The way respected leaders, I thought I will do is to perhaps go around, maybe prompt you with some thoughts, and then you could build on that and give your insights to it. I hope that should be okay. This being the future of talent is almost always driven by the industry. So therefore, perhaps I will start the question with the industry member who is right in the panel. Uh, so Rajesh, we keep hearing a lot about a lot of things that are changing the world, right? And there are a lot of priorities that are being spoken also by a lot of industries. So what, according to you, would be uh, those priorities maybe in the future? If you take a snapshot of next 10 years, I know it can be a bit difficult, but still I'm giving it an attempt. What are the kind of talents that would arise in the future? And I'm very keen to understand this from your perspective, because CTS as an entity has got clients across the globe, across verticals. So therefore, I would like you to be broad enough to cover from both the geography perspective as well as from a domain perspective, if that is okay.
Thank you so much. First of all, thank you for having me here, the High Power IT Committee, and Mr. VK Matthew. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure and honor to be here with such an esteemed panel. Let me start. Before we get to talent, I think let's take a moment to take a look at where are the jobs going. A couple of years back, Cognizant commissioned a study along with Oxford Economics to understand what is going to be the impact of AI on jobs. So we did an extensive research. We looked at about 1,000 different jobs, which comprise of about, you break the jobs down into tasks to understand which task will get impacted by AI. So we broke it down to about 18,000 tasks and did an analysis to figure out what will really be the impact of AI on these jobs. While the study was largely focused on US as a geography, but you can pretty much extrapolate that to the rest of the world, because a lot of the jobs are very similar, an accountant, and so on. And what we found was that 90% of the jobs will be impacted by AI. There's no question about it. There will be, of course, varying degrees of impact. Some will be, very significantly impact, a small portion of it, and to the extent that some will be very little impacted, right? But we estimate that over the next 7 years, around by 2032, we will have seen this play out. So I think that's very important to keep in mind while we talk about future of talent, because future of talent has to be very closely aligned to where the future of jobs is going. Right? I have read this book. It's called The Coming Wave. I think it's written by, it's a good book. I think it's written by Mustafa Suleyman, who used to work with DeepMind, which is a part of Google. He talks about how humanity has been impacted by waves of change from the beginning, the invention of fire, to electricity, to industrialization, to internet, to AI. AI is considered to be one of those waves which will significantly impact humanity. So we will see a lot of impact of AI, and it will, of course, not just shape the course of the future of jobs, industry, technology. It will shape the future of talent and how talent is moving ahead. I'll talk about one more thing and then I will move on. My Cognizant CEO, Ravi Kumar, has a narrative which I really subscribe to. He talks about how AI is seen to be impacting us today and how it is expected to impact us tomorrow. What we have seen so far is AI bringing in productivity gains. I think Mr. Dave referred to it as saying that you will not necessarily lose job to AI, but you will lose job to somebody who uses AI. And that's the world we are in today, where I would encourage all talent to learn the use of AI in the job so that you can actually get more productive. We are also seeing the emergence of agentic AI, which is smart, AI systems. Think of these smart little systems running around in your IT landscape, which does jobs more efficiently and effectively. Then we are looking at an era which is going to come in where AI agents get a lot more intelligent and actually take over jobs. So for example, you think of a sales order entry. You can actually have an AI agent do sales order entry. There is a potential world in the future where certain labor pools will get impacted by AI. So that's the direction which the world is going. So obviously, from a capability and talent building standpoint, we need to fine tune towards that.
I think there is one lack of one mic here, because of which I will need to share that with you. By the way, I'm not sure whether we are getting the right feedback on these mics, on these speakers. So may I request a control to kindly check whether we are not getting the right feedback, so we are not getting to hear exactly what is being told. So thank you. So thank you, Rajesh. I think to a greater extent, it very much aligns to what Dave said a few minutes ago. It's about AI and how jobs will revolve around it and how jobs will get transformed around it. So that is a great, at least from that point of view, there is one key takeaway that whether you like it or not, you should learn AI, right? That is something that we are getting into. So thank you so much. I do have some questions. I will come back after going around. Moving on to Dr. Cherian. Sir, you work in the healthcare sector quite a lot. You are considered to be one of the expert in this field of medical sciences. But at the same time, you are also an entrepreneur and look at technology. So it's a very interesting combination that you come with. And therefore, it becomes very important for us to also understand a little more insights from you. As you know, in Kerala, healthcare sector is one very, very core focus area amongst the few other focus areas that we have. And from that perspective, I think it becomes important if you can share some of the insights around the healthcare sector. Primarily on one fundamental element, when we look at the rural part of Kerala, what we always see is, when you talk about healthcare, we only talk about doctors and nurses, okay? But with my limited understanding of the sector, it has disrupted into many things. So I would request you to kindly open up with what is happening in the healthcare sector broadly in the world, and perhaps some insights into some of the areas that are relevant now.
Thank you, Santosh. Regardless of the enterprise that we are in, I know this is a tech session, and I'm an odd guy out with healthcare. But let me tell you, regardless of the enterprise you're in, you have to be purpose-driven, performance-orientated, and you have to be principle-led, regardless of the enterprise that you're in. And Jack Welch, said, and this is a quote of Jack Welch's, he said, there are only 3 things that matters to a company: employee engagement, customer satisfaction, and cash flow. Now, I will specifically dive into healthcare. Kerala is an outlier on 2 things when it comes to the other states in India. And Kerala is an outlier in all the health indices, and Kerala is also an outlier when it comes to education. So these 2 things gives Kerala, the people of Kerala, a head start. I myself, I'm from this part of the world, graduated from the University of Kerala, but I've spent 40 years of my life in different parts of the world, and I'm still very much connected to Kerala. Now, specifically, when it comes to healthcare, the biggest challenge that we face in healthcare, and every single person sitting in this audience is a stakeholder on healthcare, because you will come to a hospital or a physician one time or the other in your life, and many of us have been several times to the hospital without us even knowing. Now, let me tell you, there are 5 things that's important for all of us when it comes to healthcare. One is cost. The second is connectivity. The third thing is convenience. The fourth thing that we all want is competence in the healthcare providers that provide care for us. And finally, most importantly, it is compassion. So they all start with C's: cost, connectivity, compassion, competency. So they're all C's. And AI is going to be embedded in the first 4, in how we access care being cost cheaper, how we remain connected to our customers or patients, not just in the 20-minute consultation in the hospital, but we remain connected, while they are home. And then finally, AI is going to augment everything that we have studied in med school. If you simply think for a minute, I was before this NEET generation. You just score good marks in your pre-degree and then you get admitted to med school or engineering school. And today, the only thing that will allow a physician to enter into med school, if you have a good memory. You can memorize all your books and then you take a test, and then if you score well, you're admitted into med school. However, the future of healthcare is going to change exponentially. And this is how the change is going to happen. Tomorrow's healthcare providers are not being equipped in our medical schools with the knowledge and the talent they need to provide tomorrow's healthcare. Tomorrow's healthcare is going to be pretty much tech, digital, and AI driven. And it is going to come into various spheres of medicine. Now, where India has leveraged technology in a huge way, narrowing the gap between care in cities and care in rural towns, is the use of portable ultrasounds, where a high school graduate is actually taught to use a portable ultrasound. He or she goes into the village, which is 200 miles away from the nearest city, use the portable ultrasound, and all they have to have is an internet connection. They beam the images to the hospital, or a radiologist or a cardiologist might look at the images and then decide, no, the patient can be treated in the village, no, the patient has to be referred into hospital. So this is technology of the past. Now, what is technology of the future? What we as the newer generations of physicians are going to face? And there are 4 things that is going to happen. Healthcare globally, by the way, and you said global, I'm talking about healthcare globally. Healthcare globally is a broken system. We have created healthcare over the last 100 years to be a sickness-oriented system. When you're sick, you go to the doctor. By the way, 65% of our population globally will only see a physician when they're sick. Tomorrow's healthcare is changing from sickness care to wellness care, or real healthcare. And that's going to happen through AI, because the whole challenge, healthcare, by the way, is a multi-trillion-dollar industry. What's going to happen is the challenge for healthcare for tomorrow is actually preservation of health and prevention of disease. With every decade beyond the age of 40, our health will decline, whether we like it or not. Whether we have hair on the head or whether we have white hair, it doesn't matter. Your actual health indicators decline. And that's inevitable. So what happens is the new model of healthcare is to preserve your health, to keep you healthy and out of hospital. And funny enough, the very things that keep you healthy and out of hospital means that you need to be aware of where your healthcare is declining, for which preventative healthcare becomes the upstream to prevent downstream decline. So that's the big thing that is happening. The second thing AI has allowed us to do is to create predictive models. And the predictive models are pretty amazing now, because previously you say that if you're a male, if you smoked, you've got this percentage chance of developing diabetes or heart disease. But today's predictive model can actually identify a person whose health is going to decline dramatically in the last 10 years of life, purely from the genome mapping. And this is going to be the standard way in which preventative and preservative health is going to be delivered. Finally, most of the treatments that you and I will receive 10 years from today is going to be very different. Today, if you have a headache, you'll take a Panadol. If the Panadol doesn't work, you might go to ibuprofen. If ibuprofen doesn't work, you might go to Voltaren. This is how physicians like me treat patients. But tomorrow's treatment is going to be very genomically based, because I will be able to identify which of my 10 patients will respond to Panadol and which of my 1 patient will respond to Voltaren, rather than subjecting all 10 patients to the risk of all of the side effects of some of these drugs. Cancer chemotherapy is going to change forever. Cancer is never going to be a disease, but it's going to be treated by a hair falls off. It is going to be so targeted from the genomics that we can map to treat cancer. However, today, this care is expensive. But over time, like everything else, the cost is actually going to come down. And finally, what I want to say is The last P is your healthcare is going to be personalized at point of care. It's not some fancy lab trying to sort of work out your genome. Physicians will have on their tablets and their smartphones on every algorithm that you can think that will come up for your NEET exam that you have to memorize. But today, I don't have to memorize anything. It's on my algorithm on my phone. I will give you the final example and then pass on. Today, in our hospital, we have a smart hospital in Bahrain. We built it, completely smart. And by the way, Cisco is a platform on which everything rests. It's a cloud-based system. We have partnered with Mayo Clinic in Rochester. And what this partnership enables us to do in a tiny country like Bahrain is the same algorithms that the Mayo physicians use in Rochester to treat anything from acne to something major. What the Mayo physicians have, our physicians have at point of care at the end of a smartphone on a tablet. This is what is happening in healthcare, and trust me, 5 to 10 years, healthcare is going to look very, very different. The big challenge, though, for all of us, and this is what we're working on, the future of healthcare, is how to sort of narrow the gap between the high-income countries and the low-income countries, where such care can be accessible for all the populations of the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. It is very insightful. Especially a couple of points, if I were to nip from your words of wisdom. One is, I think taking healthcare out of hospital is something which is very interesting, because at least some people like me still have the fear of going to hospitals. So which is a great, important point on a serious note. I think predictive models and getting into personalization is something which is very interesting that I could learn from. And also to understand that technology is kind of becoming an equalizer even in the healthcare sector so that it becomes more affordable. Thank you so much for your kind words. Moving on to Dr. Vasugi, ma'am. From a government perspective, this is where I think the governments always have the challenge, because we try to understand what industry wants, and by the time we prepare, the industry moves on, and then we will again try to catch up, and it's unfortunately, the industry can move fairly well, easily, quickly, without any worries, whereas governments, when we have to move, we have to take care of a lot of other things. So, but I think from a Kerala standpoint, I can understand that even beyond education, we have fantastic numbers in education, be it general education, be it literacy, but we are also seeing some fantastic attempts coming in the skills area. Having heard from them, and if I were to just quote the Future of Jobs report that comes from World Economic Forum, we also see that around 39 to 40% of jobs could get evolved or could replace or could get replaced. So it becomes even more challenging. On one side, we have to skill people up. On the other side, we have to look at these changing, evolving things. So broadly, how are we prepared, ma'am, from attracting or attempting to solve these kind of problems?
So before answering your question, I just would like to set the stage. I recently attended a Phase 4 training, which is a mid-career training program for us IAS officer in our academy in Missouri. And we've had really long drilling sessions on how AI is going to change the world. And one thing that stuck with me was that one of the faculties said that in the next 20 years, life is going to change the way it changed in the last 200 years. So whatever pace of change was there in the last 200 years is going to happen in the next 20 years. That is very mind-boggling for me to even think of. Now this report that you said, in the next 5 years, almost 40% of the jobs are going to become irrelevant. Pretty scary, isn't it? But I always am a very positive person, and I feel that every crisis presents a wonderful opportunity for growth. And today I would like to say why Kerala is the best state which will take this opportunity as an opportunity for growth. I'm not from Kerala, I'm not from the state, but one thing I really admire about Kerala is something I have to talk about. You know, way before the United States became the land of immigrants, India has been the land of immigrants for 5,000 years probably. And of which Kerala, I mean, especially because of that, India has been a melting pot of cultures. But I always say that Kerala is a melting pot within the melting pot, because this is one place that we've been receiving immigrants from time immemorial. It is because of this history, very, very rich history of Kerala, we have a very global outlook. The kind of outlook that people in Kerala have, I don't think I witness anywhere in India, which is why Kerala has also become one of the most progressive, as Dave was mentioning. And not to forget, the kind of social capital that we have been investing in since our modern history. We are one state that we have invested in social capital a lot. So right from a child is born, the child is given really wonderful soil for nourishment when it comes to her potential. Which is why, every child who grows up in Kerala is a very aspirational child. So we have the most aspirational population. So I feel that, because we are such an aspirational population, it is pretty challenging for us to keep up with the aspirations. But having said that, whatever we're going to face is not just a technology challenge, but it's going to be actually a mental challenge. Because, whatever we've been talking about, like Dave was mentioning about resilience, resilience is not going to come easy with the kind of challenge that we are looking ahead. It's going to be a huge mental challenge for all of us. That's what makes us also more equipped as a Keralite, What we need is, not just upskilling in, the various specific skills that we talk about when AI takes over, but we are talking about core skills like, creativity. We need to rethink everything. We need to think out of the box on every aspect of how the job or the career sector or the space is going to change. Resilience, of course, adaptability, how fast we are ready to adapt ourselves, agility and flexibility. So what we feel is that, as government as well as industry, where we need to come together is first is on focusing these core skills. We need to really invest in our personal growth, in personality development, so that, we have the most wonderful human capital who can face this challenge. And of course, coming to the specifics of various skills that we need to focus upon. One is, of course, every industry, every sector is going to change in a way that, we are really, every work, every job is going to change. So that means that the current workforce have to be upskilled. So the industry will have to focus on upskilling their employees. That is, of course, being discussed about. And of course, many are, going to lose some jobs. So that's where the reskilling part comes. That's the second aspect of it, the reskilling part, in which we are very much committed to reskill so that these people who might lose jobs can be, channelized into renewable energy sector, healthcare, as Dr. George was mentioning, data analysis, which is going to be a huge, cybersecurity, as Dave was mentioning, advanced manufacturing and such. And of course, the third aspect is augmenting the existing workforce with technology skilling. The technology is going to change every day, and we need to keep augmenting their technology skills. And of course, developing fresh talent, because as and when the industry keeps changing, as and when the children and the students are going to become workforce, we need to really start focusing from schools, colleges, and even our ITIs, everywhere. When the fresh talent comes, the entire syllabus has to be reworked, and the government is definitely thinking about it in serious terms. And finally, no matter what, one thing, the final point I would like to make is that it also comes from my experience as Director of Agriculture during COVID times. During COVID times, a lot of people lost jobs from various parts of the world. And they came back, and as Director of Agriculture, I had the wonderful experience of witnessing them taking up agriculture So even in the future job scenario, the two sectors that might not be affected much is one is, of course, healthcare sector, as Dr. George was mentioning, and the other is, of course, the agriculture and allied sectors, which brings me to the sustainable aspects of our challenge. The future challenge is also about sustainability. There I feel, again, a huge rethink is required, and a lot of skilling can happen when it comes to perspectives like circular economy, life cycle analysis, carbon capturing and carbon sinks, regenerative agriculture, and natural resource management. So whatever said and done, every crisis, again, I would like to conclude by this answer by saying that every crisis presents a wonderful opportunity for growth. And I see that, this will help us as humanity to grow in ways that are beyond our imagination. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vasuki. As a Secretary for Labor as well as Skills, this looks like a fantastic strategy, okay? I'm hoping that organizations like CASE will step up and implement this strategy. I could see the CEO sitting there because you talked about almost all the important facets of skilling. It is about skilling, it's about upskilling, it is about reskilling. It is also not about just technology or domain skills, but also about life skills and soft skills. And finally, also touched about purposeful living, focusing on sustainability. I think that's a fantastic strategy up ahead. So we are, I think, morning in the video, we heard saying that we are ready. Looks like on the skilling space, we are really ready. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Moving on to Professor Sheshadri Shekhar. I think academia is one of the biggest stakeholder in the whole talent landscape, right? And from that perspective, it is a very, very important stakeholder for the industry to flourish, for economies to flourish, and governments to prosper. As a director for one of the premium institutes in the country, but more importantly, as a teacher who has been seeing the new generation quite a lot, what are the things that IITs in specific and maybe education, higher education in general, I'm sure you are part of a lot of higher education based committees, are we focusing on to tackle this challenges of the future, sir?
Thank you. Thank you, first of all, very good afternoon to all. And it's a very important topic, and I'm very happy to get this opportunity. It's a very interesting, I'm the last, but it's the collaboration of academics, industry, and government is the key for the future. Definitely, all together have to work. That's the key first thing to start with. We have buzzwords now. One is the digitalization and AI/ML, and sustainability and renewable energy. These are the things the future will look after. Now, my job is as a teacher, as a head of IIT. I'm a director of IIT Palakkad, the IIT in Kerala. And I have seen students, I am almost fag end of my career, another 3 years I will retire. I have worked in IIT Kharagpur, I worked in IIT Madras, I studied in IISc, I studied in IIT Madras. I'm seeing the generations, how it's changing. When I taught my first class in 1993, how their students at that age, 70s born students. Now I'm seeing the students of Gen Z and Gen Alpha, whatnot. You'll see so many changes are happening. So our job as a teacher, as a faculty, or a professor of IIT, a lot of very interesting things we have to handle. I'm seeing my own kids and seeing them in a similar fashion in the college. So I think it's a very, very vital. First thing we tell them, because I have to say that it's scary, as she pointed out rightly. It's scary that we'll be losing jobs, but certainly I will say no. We are the persons who built the machines, the robots and so on. So we are like gods to that. So they cannot beat us. And nothing to scary in the sense, all these things we're talking about, robots, everything taking over, will happen only, the prediction says, in 2080. I think many, I'm not going to be there, and many will be in their peak areas. By the time, only really robots will reach to a stage that will replace the human being. Even then, jobs are not going to be removed because human have to be there. You cannot avoid intervention of the persons who developed that. So we always teach them nothing scary. You focus on your basics. So a domain expertise is very much needed. First of all, you should understand to use AI, I should know what. So in a medical field, for the example, Meditech, we develop or we do research in Meditechs, or we do a lot of industrial collaborative works. So we always say that, please, you have to be an expert in that. AI and ML is an added benefit. Certainly, you cannot have only AI knowledge, certainly nobody can do it. But a domain expert with an added benefit of having soft skills, including the AI ML techniques, definitely will have a lot of future. So coming to the IIT, as I said, we are always focusing on this rate at which the technology is rising, keeping our students aware of that. And we say that we are all sharing the same sky and the land. So we have to think about the sustainability. All of us are familiar with the 17 SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. So the focus is now, all the institutions are expected to give marks about each of these 17 points. So I think this is where the future should look about this sustainability aspects more, and then renewability energy is going to be a part of it. So let me quickly summarize what we are doing at the different IITs. The first aspect is the interdisciplinary. No more we have a mechanical engineering or electrical engineering or a particular law or another medical, all are now going to be mixed. We are doing a lot of research in medical technology. I myself work in structural health monitoring, which is something like doctors, we talk about medical technology. The condition monitoring of a human being is something similar to the condition monitoring of a machine. So you monitor your ECG and we do the vibration studies and so on. So a lot of what you call interdisciplinaries is the need of the hour. So we teach them always. In IIT, I have faculty in electrical engineering doing agricultural assistance in developing the sensors for the moisture measurements and so on. This is how the culture, this future is going more and more into the interdisciplinary. And that is always have aided departments like data science is going to be the part of art. So we have a separate in IIT Palakkad department of data science and artificial intelligence. We are also getting funds from Mehta Foundation from US to develop a center for that. So we are having a lot of MTech programs which are very much interdisciplinary in nature. Then the very, very important is the industry academia collaboration, which is very little compared to US and other places. We are just doing it, but I think it has to be very, very aggressive. The way it is going is the right path, but the follow-up is what is needed. We do collaborations, we talk a lot in this auditorium. After that, we don't do further what you call aggressive follow-up, which is very much order of the day. So in IIT Palakkad, we have done a lot of collaborations works. In fact, recently we did Tech Connect events with Coimbatore Industries, with our MSMEs near in Palakkad, and invited a lot of industries in and around Palakkad in the Kerala, and started connecting with. And we are going to have a research park where you can in-house all these industries and a smooth transition of industry collaboration can take. And recently, none of the IIT started. I'm very happy, proud to announce that we have started a program, something like students have internships, but faculty should know about industries more. When you teach, when you groom the students. So we have started a program called extensionship. I am giving an extra salary, extra leaves, like a sabbatical leave, to go and visit during summer or winter vacation, visit the industries, come back with a problem, and use it, our students, to develop such things, start collaborating. I think like in US, Silicon Valley and many places, unless we have a very strong collaborations between the industry and academia, nothing will happen. So this is what I am forcing people in IIT Palakkad. In general, IITs are doing in generally this type of things. The next one is entrepreneurships and innovation. That is a very, very important thing. Already the startup culture has gone very much high. We have 3 Section 8 companies, although we are very new relatively, as I have seen in first generation IIT Kharagpur, Madras. Right now, we are in the very small IIT. I am there. We are seeing already we have 3 Section 8 companies, and students are encouraged to start their own startups with the help of faculty and so on. Then the sustainability point of view, every curriculum now in all the IITs or NITs, they are changing, having a bit of AI sustainability aspect. We have started a center called Environmental Science and Sustainable Engineering Center. This is very clearly taking into account of the need of the hour, and all the IITs, including IIT Palakkad, we don't teach only academics. The very, what you call extracurricular activity, in particular, soft skills, outreach activities, developing several academia programs. The students take a lot of interest to come forward. This is the future. I think we need to have technical know-how, the knowledge, plus the soft skills, which includes communication, digitalization, and teamwork. Unfortunately, this is where, again, we are lacking. I admit that we are all doing it solo, but unless we all join together, including all IITs, should come forward and develop something rather than working individually, then it comes. All the product development, any startups, whatever you talk about, it requires the teamwork. All should work together is what I feel. That's we are always a little slow. I always encourage my students to come work as a team. Otherwise, we can never develop. Look at the ISRO. We are almost competing with the NASA and etc. That is because of the entire team at ISRO. Many of them come from IIT Madras, where I am actually working. I came on deputation to IIT Palakkad. So I'm seeing that the way they work. I think that is going to be the order. Unless we work together as a team, we can't make up this one. So I thank you once again for giving the opportunity.
Thank you, Professor Shekhar. I have to say, your students, if you are continuing to teaching, would be one amongst the lucky ones, because the kind of energy that you are drawing even on this stage is amazing. So no doubt that IIT Palakkad, even though it is pretty new, has gone into amongst the top educational institutions. I hope there are quite a few industrialists sitting here. I hope this is good news for the industry, because you are breaking the barriers of disciplines between the departments, which is very important. So interdisciplinarity is something very good. AI is being treated as an interdisciplinary course, which is again a great initiative. It is becoming like a language, right? It is like Malayalam, English, etc. Everybody should learn, right? Focusing on entrepreneurship, giving internship during their studies, sustainability, soft skills programs, I think fantastic. I think if you have engines like this powering some of the strategies the secretary said, some of the needs the industry said, I think we have a great structure around. I'm just conscious of the time. We started almost 45 minutes late. Can I do one more round if it is okay, very quickly? Okay. Yeah, I will negotiate that as we go. Sorry about that. So I just wanted to, then we will not have elaborate discussion. I just wanted to ask you, Rajesh, just slightly out of syllabus. I did mention a few things, but hearing what you have heard in the morning, and hearing from the government and also from institutions like IIT, etc. What is your investment going to be like for CTS, especially? CTS has a big facility in Kerala. How are you going to do, what are your plans in Kerala?
Sure. Thank you for that question. Before I talk about the investment, let me briefly touch upon what was discussed just now. Sometimes I think about this, and I look at my one kid is going to college, and I have one kid who is out of college, and I'm often struggling to give them an advice as to what really will work for them, because the world around us is changing so fast. I'm not at all envious of the students who are in college today, wondering what will the world be tomorrow when they step out, and what should they focus on. And I also not envious of the universities, which are trying to keep up pace with the changing world. We being in the industry, we struggle to make sure that our rank and file is actually keeping up with the changes around us. Like, in Cognizant, we have 350,000 employees. Keeping the 350,000 employees up to speed on the latest technologies is really challenging. When us as industry struggle to make that change, we can only imagine how difficult it is for the academia. Your premier institutes are different, but I come across many institutes which don't have the, which don't have the access that you guys have. So what becomes very important, to your point on investment, right? It's money, time, effort. What becomes very important is that the industry, government, and the academia come together to actually solve the problem of future of talent. It's an extremely essential feedback loop. So Cognizant as a company, we have invested time and effort in pockets. There is a lot more we can do, but we work with about 20 different colleges in the country where we have worked with them to change the curriculum to reflect what we believe is the upcoming needs of the industry. And also we have our own colleagues who are actually going and teaching at those universities, because the challenge for universities is that even teachers need to be scaled up, and it's not easy to scale. So how do you give real life examples and use cases and so on? This is an important part of what we are doing as Cognizant. We call it as the Synapse program. The Synapse program is actually a series of interventions right from grassroots level all the way up to college, because we believe that you can't ignore the grassroots level. They need to be educated about the world tomorrow before they actually grow up. So we have actually an immense number of programs. One of them, which I really loved, was we work with a lot of children who come from underprivileged communities, don't have access to computers. How will they be ready for the future of tomorrow? So we partnered with an organization which basically makes an application which runs on your phone, and it helps you to learn coding without computers. It's remarkable, actually. You build a code using Lego blocks, kind of cardboard blocks, and then you use this app and scan that bunch of cardboard blocks, and it tells you whether the code that you have actually assembled works or not. And I've met a bunch of kids who do that. Starting from there, we are also going through, we also have partnered with the government, by the way, NASSCOM, not specifically government, but NASSCOM. NASSCOM has a future skills platform, so we are contributing to learning pathways of future skills program. Then, of course, we are working with universities on a whole bunch of other things, right? So I think that's how we are actually investing. So our goal is to at least have 1 million people upskilled in the coming couple of years in this space. So that's what we're working towards.
Okay.
So I have something to add to what both of them said. I think before I could say, they set the right tone. Academia, industry, and government must come together. Otherwise, I don't think we can face this wave of change that is going to happen. Maybe this is nature's way of making people work together and come together as a team. So my appeal to all the people from the industry as well as from the academia is that the government here is very much committed to gear up for the challenges ahead. We have wonderful institutions with very creative teams in ASAP, in institutions like ASAP, CASE, and even our educational institutions. We are all geared up for the change. But we cannot do this unless we all come together. The industry has to come together, and we need the industry's support both on investing on the soft skills part as well as even monetary investment. Because from where I see is that the challenge is going to be multidimensional. One, we might be even blind to the kind of demands that is going to happen when the nature of jobs are going to change. So we have lots of challenges here. So unless we feel the pulse from every sector, I don't think we could really, meet as the demands as the society changes. So here I would like to be more specific. What we have is that we have some parcels of land here and there, and we also have a lot of Government of India funding that is coming to upgrade our ITIs. So the Government of India is also looking at Kerala as a place where they could really put up some exemplary setups when it comes to skilling. So As a matter of fact, I recently went to Delhi where we have had wonderful discussions with the various institutions in Government of India, and they are really interested in doing something amazing in Kerala. And all of this needs industry participation. So we are committed to creating multiple centers of excellence, focusing on various sectors like, artificial intelligence, AVGCXR, and so many, many sectors, the list is too huge. But I would like to say that whichever sector that needs skilling, we are willing to set up centers of excellence. But obviously, we are also having challenges of, funding and even the talent pool, finding the right talent pool to come and train our trainers as well as students. So we want the industry to actively participate in this. As a matter of fact, the Labor Department would soon be convening a conclave with the industries to work this out. So to respond to your concern that, how are you going to, update your employees? This is exactly where we would like to come in. Let us create permanent setups where, you could always send your employees for upskilling or reskilling or even acquiring fresh talent, whatever it is, Let us create permanent setups where, all our resources are pooled and where, everybody comes and update themselves. And from that pool, anybody can draw. Let's create a talent pool that is created by all of us together so that it serves both the employees as well as the employers. So once again, my appeal before the end of this session is that we would like active participation from the industries and of course somebody like here, Professor Shekhar, with all the energy to do this collaboration. We are more than willing to team up together. I appeal the industries to come with us. Thank you.
That was very reassuring, ma'am. Thank you so much. Very quickly, Dr. Cherian, we also have an aspiration to become #1 in the medical technology areas and things like that. And in order to bring that up, even though our medical devices, we are 24% of the national level contribution, we still wanted talent also to support it. Unless talent is there, we can't bring that up. Your 2 cents to building talent in that particular domain, if you could.
My 2 cents would be this. We need greater cooperation between the medical field and the engineering field. I graduated 20 years before the internet was ever born. Our medical curriculum in India, particularly in Kerala, still remains the same. 4.5 years and 1 year of internship and so on and so forth. Today, most other countries are completely revamping medical education because it's a hybrid between medicine and engineering. Harvard sends their medical students for a 2-year fellowship program at MIT. MIT students are coming to Harvard to learn what medicine is about. So when we talk about ecosystems, Kerala having the talent and all of the will in the world, sometimes the greatest challenge for us is to break down the educational hierarchies. Who said that we should do 10 years of school and +2? The world tomorrow is nothing like +2. I mean, kids at the age of 15 are ready to go into university. So there are some issues that are possibly at one level higher than us that we need to really address if we have to push the talent bar. I mean, you don't need a degree. For any of these things. And we know that from industry, none of these big guys have got degrees. And yet they created whatever we use in their garages. So I think we need to be kind of, think wide and broad and push talent right across. Just because someone hasn't got a degree ticked, he's actually pushed back. I mean, I saw somewhere in Kerala application form, if you're over 35, do not apply. There's an age limit of 35. So what happens to someone like me who can contribute and have crossed the magic threshold of that age? So there are so many of these bureaucratic things that we have inherited from our predecessors that we will still keep it as the holy grail and we will not sort of block off.
That was a great point. In fact, I just wanted to let our secretary also know, even though in the educational field, I don't know how much of influence you will have, but on the skill space, one of the important points is also to bring that interdisciplinarity into it. If we can have skills which includes AI plus medicine or AI plus manufacturing or AI plus transportation, I think that will be a great opportunity that we will have.
Can I add one point?
I will come to you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm coming. Yeah, please go ahead. And I have one question also for you. Yeah, you may.
Yes, sir.
I was
take
just saying.
5 more minutes.
I was just saying that today's education is lifelong. It doesn't finish after your college degree or your master's. Lifelong. It's lifelong learning, and that's the new thing. Thank you.
Yep.
I just want one point what she said. I think we don't have facilities in all. I'll elaborate. We have one IIT in Kerala, IIT Palakkad, but there are a lot of good colleges. I can name TKM Government College in Trivandrum. In our next door only we have a lot of GEC College, NSS, a lot of good colleges. Problem is it's very expensive to have similar instruments in all the colleges. We have some order of crores. Some places there are similar equipment. The problem is difficult to utilize. Similarly, the exposure to these colleges, to several facilities which we have. So what I feel is there should be a help from the government to have some centers where we can allow our IIT faculty experts to teach that training centers and skill development for all the colleges in and around IIT Palakkad. I'm ready to take the nodal in charge for that. But that requires cooperation from both the government as well as from the industry. I think otherwise what is happening at times, there will be resource, but it's difficult others to use it. They
Fantastic.
will not able to know as well. We are opening to websites and all. I feel the coordination
Fabulous.
is very much
Can
needed.
Can I make a deal here if it is? I'm sure Secretary will be very much onboarded. Yeah.
So
Can Palakkad open up that particular
Yes, I am
opportunity
ready
for
to
that?
take that full
Can
charge
C-
of
can
helping all the
CTS
colleges.
Can
Please
CTS
help us.
help in providing your expertise there, and
So-
can government facilitate that back?
The Department of Labor and Skills is up for the challenge, and we are making a deal right here.
There you go. And
I think it's a very good point. This is exactly what I was talking about. Opportunity for industry, academia, and government to come and support. The point I was making, madam, is that we can see what's coming, the wave is coming. We ourselves are challenged and sometimes keeping up with the wave. How do we bring the rest of the society up ahead? And that's where three-way collaboration will absolutely work. Happy to work with government and academia to do what is required to be done.
great. At least in a small way, the purpose is served. We have one clear action to take. Maybe we can work within the HPIC to make this really happen. So let us see how we can experiment this and scale this up. In the meantime, I also wanted to say thank you to Cognizant, because when I was in ICT Academy of Kerala, Cognizant had a girl student scholarship through which in Kerala we educated around 3,000 plus girl students on Python programming and other programming languages. So they have done some fantastic work out there. Even Cisco, I don't see the members here, but Cisco has contributed to our institution, Digital University Kerala, a Thinkubator, which is an innovation center from Cisco. So there are quite a few things are happening out there. So that is a kind of a reassurance that things will, if you commit, we will make it work, all right? So thanks a lot for this extremely, extremely great panel. I'm not done yet, but we are forced by the time, but really, really appreciate your very, very insightful inputs. Thank you.
Thank you so much. May I please invite Mr. V.K. Matthews, the founder and executive chairman, IBS Software, also the member of High Power IT Committee, to give away the token of appreciation, the mementos. Sir, please. Professor A. Shishadri Shekhar, Director for IIT Palakkad, is receiving the memento. Dr. K. Vasuki, IAS, the Secretary for Labour Commissionerate, Government of Kerala. Dr. George Chirian, American Vision Hospital. Mr. Rajesh Warrior, Chairman and Managing Director for Cognizant India. And the moderator for the session, Mr. Santosh Kurup, Professor for Digital University of Kerala. Sir, a group photo, please. So by this, we come to an end of the first session for the day, The Future of Talent.